Vermont.
Mr. President, I ask consent to call the quorum be dispensed with.
Without objection, morning business is closed. Under the previous order, the Senate will resume consideration of the motion to proceed to H.J. Res. 66, which clerk will report.
Motion to proceed to the consideration of House Joint Resolution 66, approving the renewal of import restrictions contained in the Burmese Freedom and Democracy Act of 2003.
Senator from Vermont.
Mr. President, I've spoken to so many of my colleagues, I know I have with my good friend, one of the most distinguished members of this body, the Senator from Montana, and others about what's happened in Vermont. We're a little state. We're 660,000 people. We're a state that has sent volunteers all over the country when people have been hit by earthquakes and tornadoes, hurricanes, flooding. But now Vermont has been hit. I was born in Vermont. My family came to Vermont in the 1800s. The only thing that could even begin to match what we've seen were the horrible floods of 1927. I wasn't alive then, but I remember the stories my parents told me. But certainly in my lifetime, we've never seen anything like this. As Vermont continues to grapple with the aftermath of Tropical Storm Irene, and it's all Vermonters joining. This doesn't make a difference whether you're a Republican or a Democrat or anything else. All Vermonters are joining. I'd like to call the Senate's attention today to the severe and extensive damages done to our state's transportation infrastructure, our roads, our bridges, how they're washed out. And that's affecting all Vermonters. Here's a few of the scenes of the destruction. This was a main highway. Mr. President, this was a main highway. You can see one lane here, you see one lane here. And look what happened. It doesn't pick up again until over here. That was a highway. That had been used for decades. Route 100 is just south of Plymouth. Now, Plymouth, Vermont is where Calvin Coolidge was born. And actually, he was spending time there with his father when he got news he suddenly become president and was sworn in by a deputy sheriff. No, sworn in by his father, who was a justice of the peace, I believe. The deputy sheriff, who thought they may need security, so he's standing there with a pitchfork in one hand, sun-armed, pitchfork in one hand, and a lantern in the other. But this photo just shows you what is happening. They're trying to build a temporary bridge up there, and as you know from a northern state, Mr. President, we're going to have snow in Vermont in a matter of weeks. And, of course, companies stopped making asphalt early November. Now, this is a photo I took. I took it from a helicopter. It's Route 4. It's a major east-west route across Vermont. Again, look at this. You can't see one of the lanes of the road. It would have gone just like this. But it's gone, and look how deep. That's because this river moved from where it had never been before and just tore it out. Governor Shumlin, the governor of our state, were touring by helicopter immediately after this. We were trying to see how much damage. We actually needed the helicopter along with General Mike Doobie, the head of our National Guard, because many places we went, it's the only way you could get into them was by helicopter. And I'm going to tell the people we will help. Now, this third one, this is the New England Central rail line in central Vermont that hosts Amtrak's Vermonter train. You can actually get on the Vermonter here in Washington, take it to New York, and then go up through New England to Vermont. I've actually done it a number of times. Economic Recovery Act funds have just repaired this line to nearly mint condition. Look at it now. Couldn't take a train across it. Sunk out from underneath it. That's a pretty horrific thing. And this shot was taken along Vermont Route 30 in Jamaica, Vermont, or what's left of it. This is while rains from the remnants of Hurricane Lee fell in Vermont. I mean, we just got hit and hit and hit. up there. You can see work crews trying desperately to stay ahead of the rising water. And some of them, frankly, Mr. President, are risking their lives to do that. And I might say, in that regard, we've had people come in to help out on our highway. I told the two senators from Maine yesterday, they had highway construction people from Maine, including some on vacation, came down to help. The response was we thanked them and said, you helped us, we'll help you. Mr. President, you know rural America, and you know we pitch in to try to help each other. But unfortunately, this is the tip of the iceberg. Roads, bridges, and rail lines all over the state have been wiped out. I apologize to my colleagues for being emotional, but this is my state. This is my home. It's the home of my ancestors. And we've seen flooding close more than 300 town and state roads. They've damaged more than 20 bridges in Vermont. They stranded people in more than a dozen towns for days. Damages to the state's federal aid roads and bridges will exceed $500 million in our little state. It's going to take years and years to recover. It's been extremely difficult to move emergency supplies and rebuilding materials around, and some of the washed-out roads have gaping gullies in the middle that are 30 feet or more deep. You can't just drive a truck over that. And some of the reopened roads and bridges aren't even recommended for heavy traffic. And the consequences have been harsh. Residents are forced to make a 30-mile-plus detour to the nearest grocery store or doctor on mountain roads, many of them dirt roads. Businesses are struggling to reopen, rehire their people, but then to find new customers. Schools have been forced to remain closed till repairs are made. And children are wondering, adding to the trauma of what they've seen, they're wondering, when are we going back to the normalcy of going to school? And tourists are worried about traveling to Vermont this fall to see the foliage or this winter to do some skiing, matters that are major industry in our state. The end of construction season in Vermont is fast approaching. As I mentioned earlier, by November, it will be too cold to lay asphalt. By December, snow and ice will cover the mountains, leaving many towns dangerously isolated. My home was safe, but I live on a dirt road, dead-end dirt road. It's 2 miles to the nearest paved road. And I know how easily these dirt roads can be disrupted. It's happened to me, not this time, but it's happened, but unfortunately it's happening to thousands of other Vermonters not as fortunate. I do applaud the Vermont Agency of Transportation. Vermont National Guard can't get enough applause. They have work crews and guardsmen from states all around the country because they've moved quickly to make emergency road repairs, install temporary bridges. One town that General Dubé and I and the governor had a helicopter in because it was the only way to get there. Now at least has a temporary road. But these are lifelines to the hardest hit communities, and they are during summer and early fall weather, not winter weather. But we need to make permanent repairs as soon as possible, or future rains and the fall's freeze-thaw cycle will further deteriorate our roads. Will make many of them impassable during the winter and cut off major parts of my state. And given the breadth and depth of Irene's destruction on top of the ongoing disasters already declared in all 50 states, we have to ensure that FEMA and the Department of Transportation have all the resources they need to help our citizens in their desperate time of need. The other night, the President addressed the Congress and the nation from the floor of the House of Representatives. On his way in, he leaned over and said to me, I'm thinking of your people in Vermont, and that means a lot. And I do applaud him for issuing the emergency declaration very, very quickly, and then when we needed to make an adjustment to it, doing that. But we have to replenish the FEMA Disaster Relief Fund and the Federal Highway Emergency Road Fund, both of which are at dangerously low levels right now, not just for Vermont, but for every other state. Every other state that have been hit with the same kind of problems. Without supplemental funding to these and the other emergency accounts, Vermont and all the other 49 states with ongoing federal disasters are not going to have the resources to rebuild. Mr. President, Americans should be worried about Americans. The kind of money we're talking about we throw away in Iraq and Afghanistan in a week's time. And we do it on a credit card. And we say we don't have to pay for it. And now we have someone say, well, but if we're going to help Americans, we better find out some way we can pay for it. What can we take away from other Americans to help these Americans? Can we take away from education, medical research, from housing? Mr. President, let's start thinking about America. We saw what the billions, eventually trillions were spent trying to rebuild Iraq and Afghanistan, and we see just how much that's appreciated. These are Americans who do appreciate and need the help. Mr. President, let us come home. Let us take care of the needs in America. And with so much on the line, so starkly for so many, it'd be harmful and unseemly to play politics with disaster relief. We've never done this before. And I was heartened as I got off, it came into one town, badly damaged. And I got an email from a very conservative Republican senator who said, Pat, you helped us when our state was hit. What can we do to help your state? That's the kind of bipartisanship the Republicans and Democrats have done in the past to come together. Thousands of American families and businesses have been devastated by an unprecedented series of floods, tornadoes, hurricanes, wildfires. Look at the pictures out of Texas and other natural disasters these years. The people hurting out there, they're not thinking about Democrats versus Republicans or Republicans versus Democrats or red states versus blue states. They're saying we're Americans. We help everybody else. Can we at least help ourselves? They're desperate for a helping hand from their fellow Americans. We're one nation. We've traditionally come to aid of our fellow Americans in times of need. In my 37 years in the United States Senate, we have always dealt with disaster bills together. We haven't cared whether it's a Republican state or a Democratic state, whether it's a Republican president or a Democratic president. We've worked across the aisle in the spirit of bipartisanship in the best interests of America, in the best tradition of our country. As a nation, can we afford to toss that tradition and cooperation overboard? It's unconscionable that a small number decided to inject politics and political point scoring into a situation that's already so difficult and so laden with grim realities for so many of our fellow citizens. Go and talk to a farmer who's seen his herd decimated and tell them that. Go and see a small business owner that's a major employer in a small town and who's saying, I don't know how I can keep hiring these people. Go and tell a child who's asked their parents, when will the road be done so that we can go to school or visit grandma? Tell them, tell them. So Leader Reid is right to bring an emergency disaster relief package to the floor. They'll get aid to all 50 states suffering from the effects of unprecedented natural disasters. I state the obvious when I say we need Republican cooperation to get this urgent job done. I encourage my colleagues, end a shameful filibuster of this essential disaster relief bill. Let us proceed to a full debate on how to help our fellow Americans, as quickly as we can. Mr. President, I've taken up a lot of time for the Senate. Before I yield the floor, I have 9 unanimous consent requests for committees to meet during today's session of the Senate. And approval of the majority and minority leaders, I ask unanimous consent. These requests be agreed to and the requests be put on the record.
Without objection, under the previous order, the Senate stands in recess until 2:15 p.m.
And today on the floor, we expect the Senate to continue with a bill that renews trade restrictions against Myanmar, also known as Burma. Majority Leader Harry Reid has said that